G'day guys, Dave from Hunting Arete here. This will be the first in some videos that I'm going to start doing to expand on the podcast content, Instagram and the website. If you've been following the podcast and had a look at the website, you'll see that I got hold of a Montana Rifles Company 300 Win Mag XWRSS. The rifle came from a mate who I've known for a long time, best mate he is actually, and he came across this rifle for sale. Was going to be a rifle he bought for a particular purpose, really low round count and in excellent condition. But when he fired it, he just wasn't happy with it. That's fine. There's different things suit different people. Wasn't a recoil issue. Matt can handle guns a lot bigger than what I like, but I had a look at it with him and I said to him after he purchased it, if he ever got rid of it, could he give me first option on it? Which he did, and here we are. I've got the Montana. So on the website I've written a couple of parts of an ongoing commentary on the rifle called Miss Montana, and just thought I'd give you a bit of background here into that process. So I've got a couple of good rifles which are mainstay hunting rifles, so I wanted to do something a bit different with this gun. Firstly, I like to make sure my guns are in as best condition or set up properly before I even shoot them, to give them the first and best chance to get the most accuracy out of them. So I'm going to bed the rifle, but when I got hold of it, I discovered that the textured finish on the rifle was a bit degraded. It actually softened up. How this occurred, I'm not sure, but I think maybe it could have been some damage in a repair, or someone's used something like insect repellent with DEET on it, and that softened up the textured finish. So it was actually so soft that you could scrape it off with your thumbnail. So I stripped the rifle back. That's the stock there. I think it's actually something similar to a HS Precision, may even be a HS Precision, I'm unsure. I tried to find out but didn't draw any luck there. It's got a full length aluminium pillar bedding block in it, and yeah, so it really looks like a good stock. It's a classic straight design, great to shoot offhand, maybe not the best if you're going prone, but yeah, there's compromises to be made in every gun. So I stripped it off, and unfortunately I found a little bit of damage along the comb here and also on the heel of the buttstock here. Maybe it's not damage, maybe it's just small deficiencies in manufacturing, and they were corrected on the buttstock heel. But on the comb there was a bit of the composites, like the carbon fibre and Kevlar, just slightly exposed. So on advice from a few people in the industry, I had a lash at repairing it, used some really light fiberglass cloth and some epoxy resin, reinforced the top comb and also where they bogged over the defects in the bottom at the heel, and then sanded it back. This all occurred after I stripped the finish off it, so you can see pretty much, it's not bad now. I'm going to refinish that, and it should come up very nicely. I've got a few ideas in mind, and we'll see how that goes. When it came to optics for this rifle, that's where I really wanted to do something different. I wanted the opportunity to try a few things and maybe select something different to what I've come to use over the last 5-6 years, which was Swarovskis. My two mainstay hunting rifles are Tikka T3s with Swarovskis, a Z5 and a Z6. But competition in the market's a great thing. It drives innovation, it drives change, and it drives competitiveness of price. So that's a great thing to consider, you know. And not all functionalities and features suit everyone on the market. Everyone might want something slightly different, and that's great. Diversity's great, and like I said, everyone wants something different. So I had a set of criteria. I wanted to stretch this rifle out to probably 750 to 800 on steel. I'll limit my shots for, at this point in time, to around 400, 450 meters on game. I just don't feel I'm good enough yet to get out that far, but I'll continue practicing and trying. That's time in the field, so something that we all struggle with at time to time. So the criteria is, if you want to read about it, I talk about in detail in about part 3 of Miss Montana on huntingarete.com.au. Now, obviously you want reasonable magnification to get out long, but really what I base my selection on is in close, because if you can't get down and have a good field of view when you've got a shot within, say, 30 meters, then you can't shoot what you can't see. So I needed that low in magnification. There's a whole lot of other criteria that I'd decided on, but one of the main important ones was a BDC style turret, and that ruled out one or two of the contenders, unfortunately. Like, they were great bits of gear, and stacked up on paper, except for that factor. One other thing was, this is a 300 Win mag. It's a long action, and one of the things that can really make or break a rifle in terms of accuracy is proper scope setup. And if you've got a long action, that often means trying to get to a Picatinny rail to mount a rifle scope further back or further forward, depending on how your posture and your body style and size. So the main tube length of a body can restrict that, depending on what type of mounts you want to use. So in the mix were Leupold VX5s, VX6s, Swarovski, Kales, Schmidt & Bender, Vortex, Night Force, and maybe one or two others. And along with that was Maven built optics out of Wyoming. Now they're relatively new to the market, very new to Australia through outdoor sports, and everything I read on them was they're a good bit of kit. They're Japanese optics, depending on whether they're binos, spotting scopes, or rifle scopes. Some are assembled in Wyoming, others they're put together in Japan. So I was really interested in that. As I said, competition's great in the market. It drives innovation and change and competitiveness. So what I ended up with in terms of scope selection was the Maven built RS1. This is the scope here. Really impressed with it so far, but I must say I haven't given it a great test on its optics. I'm a firm believer that you can only do that in the field conditions when it's mounted up on a rifle, and that you're shooting it. So it's the RS1, as I said, 2.5 to 15 by 44. Adjustable parallax, really great knurling on the power change ring, which is awesome in terms of when you're wearing gloves or it's wet weather or cold, you get a great grip on it. And it has supplied by Maven, but manufactured by a third party. It has a adjustable turret, BDC turret. So really well built, great adapter, great set of instructions on how to fit it. So hopefully we get this all together in the next week or two. Probably I'm being a bit optimistic there, but I'll follow this video up with a series of videos of load testing, load development, and then probably be using this rifle a number of times in the field this year. So that's where Miss Montana's at. On top of that, I'll be doing some what I'd like to term as gear evaluations, because it's not really a review in that what I see as good for myself may not be what someone else sees as good for themselves. You know, it's all about what they want out of the gear, or what an individual wants out of the gear. So, you know, these are evaluations based on my desires and my performance criteria for a particular bit of gear. Now, I'd have to say that at this point in time, every bit of gear that I do an evaluation on, I've purchased. So this is not sponsorship or anything like that. So I'll be trying to be totally frank with my assessment of the gear. So I've had a bit of a change in clothing, and I've gone to solid pants. Now, I had been using camo pants, and I had a solid puffer jacket, coloured puffer jacket, which I used when I was sitting and waiting, glassing. Now, you know, there's two different opinions on camo, whether it works, blah blah blah. A lot of it's potentially psychological, but I do like to be broken up, have my outline broken up if I can. Yeah, maybe I'm fooling myself, but that's just my take on it, and that's where I'm at. So as I've gone to solid pants, I wanted to try a new camo puffer jacket, as I said, for those cold, windy days when I'm sitting and glassing and waiting. And I had a good look around. There's plenty out there, like the Kuyu, First Light, and probably quite a number of others. Now, what I've been using is this Mac Pack. You know, they're great value. It's a down puffer, hooded. You know, I used it in Victoria about 18 months ago. Really impressed with it. Packs down light and small. So, you know, it went well. But as I said, I wanted to move towards a camo jacket. Now, I had been looking at a few of the others, and then a company that I bought a bit of gear out of in the past, Beyond Clothing, based in Seattle in the United States, released a new jacket called the Cetra. Now, Beyond Clothing do two lines of clothing, the Axios and the Kairos. Now, Axios is what they term berry compliant, so it's fully made of American source materials and manufactured in America, which is what berry compliant is about, so it can be supplied to the American military. You know, it'd be good to see the Australian government do something like that, and maybe, you know, have Australian materials and gear manufactured for military contracts. Probably do a lot for our manufacturing sector, and then maybe they could bounce off into civilian markets based on their establishment of base markets there. But yeah, it's a tough one, but I think the move's got to be made before we lose all our manufacturing, but that's probably another topic. So this Cetra jacket is from their Kairos line. It's designed and prototyped in the States but manufactured in China, and it's in the woodland camo. It's a bit heavier. I haven't got the exact weights on it in comparison to the Mac Pack. Pretty old but yet effective camo pattern that the US Marine Corps, I believe, has been using since mid-late 60s. So happy to be corrected on that. So, you know, I'll give some feedback on that and an evaluation going forward. It's pretty early days. I'll probably sweat like a bastard if I'm wearing it now. So, you know, we'll wait till the weather cools down and I'll give some feedback and my thoughts on that. The other thing I've done is I purchased a second new tent. Couple of reasons there. Hope to take the kids away as well on a couple of trips, but also I wanted a tent that maybe wasn't as extreme duty as the one I've got, and is a bit lighter to carry and backpack in with. But we'll do some evaluations there and hopefully show that in the field. So yeah, thanks for your time, guys and gals, and any questions or any suggestions for the podcast, video, or anything else, leave a comment here, get in touch with me via a DM on Instagram or an email through the Hunting Arete website, and I'll see what I can do. So yeah, your support's valued, and I'll try and continue to bring good content to it. See you later.